Now remember, in my classes, I like to be interactive, so I like to ask a lot of questions. Okay, colleagues, so don't feel shy not answering. Try to answer so that you gain more understanding. Yes. So this question here, part B, is the one we're just reviewing. Suppose you have the following exchange rates. Okay, Zambian kwacha per US dollar. ZMW 1.025 slash US dollar. Whenever you see it written like this, colleagues, all right, just know it means 1 US dollar equals 1.9025 kwacha. Okay. Another way it can be written, because these notations can be written in different ways. All right. So this is one way of writing it. The other way of writing it is like this. And the third way, in case maybe it brings it like this, it can be written like this. All of these things mean the same thing. Okay. This, this, and this mean the same thing. It's just telling us 1 US dollar equals to 1.9025 kwacha. The next one, Canadian dollars per US dollar. So you see 1.2646 Canadian dollars slash US dollars here. It tells us that 1 US dollar is equal to 1.2646 Canadian dollars. Mm. And then here we've got Zambian kwacha per Canadian dollar, ZMW 1.5214 slash Canadian dollars. Basically telling us 1 Canadian dollar equals 1.5214 Zambian kwacha. Okay, so colleagues, always remember the different ways they can put these exchange rates. Okay, so now they said, how can a Zambian trader with a 1 million kwacha benefit from the intermarket arbitration? Colleagues, what does the term arbitration mean? Madam Helen, what is arbitration? Yes, yes, yes. Are we okay with that, Madam Harriet and Mr. Chris? Mr. Chris? Yes. So in simple words, this is just taking advantage of different exchange rates in different markets so that you can make a profit. Okay. It's all about making a profit. So here, as we've seen in this question here, this Zambian trader wants to make a profit here. Okay. So as I said, there are two routes he can take. All right. So today we'll just look at the route where he's going to make a profit. Okay. So that route, we say that he's going to first convert his kwacha into dollars, then his dollars into Canadian dollars, then back to kwacha. Okay. So $1 equals 1.9025 kwacha. Okay, we cross multiply. All right, 1.9025 times x equals 1 million. Then you divide 1 million by 1.9025. Okay, so this 1 million kwacha, when it's converted into dollars, it becomes $525,000, 624.17 cents. Any questions on this before we move further? Okay. Then next we go from US dollars into Canadian dollars. $1 equals 1.2646 Canadian dollars. So 525,624.17 US dollars equals how many Canadian dollars? Again, it's an issue of cross multiplying here. So we multiply 525,624 times 1.2646. We get 664,704.33 Canadian dollars. So last time I remember in our tabulations, someone told me 650 something. Okay, so just confirm with your calculator when you multiply these two. You should get this figure here, 664,704.33. Any questions before we go to the next part? Okay. Then Canadian dollars back to kwacha. So one Canadian dollar equals 1.5214 kwacha. We cross multiply 664,704 Canadian dollars multiplied by 1.5214 kwacha. We get 1,011,281 kwacha point 16 ingwe. So this guy is in a profit. But B asks us to calculate how much is the profit. So how much he ends up with minus how much he started with basically. 1,011,281.16 minus 1 million, you get an 11,281.16. That is the profit. And this is where the arbitration has happened. He's made a profit by taking advantage of the different exchange rates. Okay, by converting one currency to another currency, then back to another currency, then back to the kwacha. Okay, this one is specifically called triangular arbitration. Okay, because we're using three exchange rates, so it's triangular arbitration. It's not always that you need to do it with three exchange rates. Sometimes you can do it with two, sometimes four, five. Depends how well versed you are in the forex market. But this triangular arbitration is where you convert currency A to currency B, then currency B to currency C, then from currency C back to currency A, as we did here. Kwacha, US dollar, Canadian dollar, then back to kwacha. Any questions before we move to the second part of the question? I think put ZMW. But I don't think you'll be penalized if you put kwacha, yes. But are we okay with that? We can move to part B. I mean part C. Okay. Part C, suppose $1 equals 33.4 Russian rubles and $1 equals 1.75 Zambian kwacha. Find SZM over RUB. Okay, so as I said, when you see a currency over a currency like this one, now it's written here, ZMW over RUB is the same as saying, one find out how many, one Zambian kwacha equals to how many Russian rubles. Okay, one find out how much one kwacha is in Russian rubles. If the rubles was on top, then it will be how much one ruble is equivalent to in kwacha. Okay, now since ZMW is on top, okay, it's the one which is of 1 unit. And I also forgot to mention this. In these notations, there's you are going to have your base currency. This is the currency which you have 1 unit of. Okay, that's the base currency. The currency you have 1 unit of. Okay, so here in this notation here, we can see that the base currency is the US dollar because US is just by itself. The kwacha has got a figure attached to it. So there the US is the base currency. Even here, where we say $1 equals 1.9025, US dollar is the base currency. Even here, where we say USD over ZMW, US dollar is the base currency. The base currency is just the currency where you have 1 unit. Any questions on that? Then you have the quote currency. Other books you see as the price currency. This is the currency that you have a number attached to it. Okay, quote currency. So in this notation here, where we say ZMW 1.9025, that is the quote currency. Even here in this notation here, we say $1 equals 1.9025 Zambian kwacha, that is the quote currency. And also in this third notation here, the one which is the denominator, it's going to be the quote currency. So in this question here, since the ZMW is on top, it's the base currency. It's meaning the one we have 1 unit of. And then the rubles is the quote currency where we need to find the figure. Okay, so we have to find, so $1 equals the 3.4 rubles and $1 equals 1.5 ZW. Okay, so here it's just a matter of substitution, colleagues. Okay. So here I have to change it here. Yes. 1 USD equals 33.4 rubles and 1 USD equals 1.75 kwacha. So here what we can do, since we know that 1 USD equals 33.4 rubles, all right? So we can substitute this 33.4 rubles here for this dollar here in this second exchange rate here. So we already know $1 is 33.4 rubles. So we can just substitute it in this second exchange rate here. So that it becomes 33.4 rubles equals 1.5 kwacha. Then, as I said, any questions before we move further? We have just done a substitution here from this first exchange rate we've substituted into the second exchange rate. Any questions on that? It's just the exchange rate, madam. Here, they just want to find the exchange rate. Nothing more, nothing less. So now I want to find out one kwacha because it's, as I said, it's ZMW over RB. So it means one kwacha equals how many rubles? So using our new exchange rate here, so rubles, we're going to put them as X. Then here we have one kwacha. One kwacha equals how many rubles? All right. So it's just a matter of cross multiplying. So we cross multiply 33.4 times 1, that is 33.4. 1.5 times x, 1.5. So we have 1.5, excuse me, 1.5x equals 33.4 rubles. So we have to divide by x, 1.5. So x equals 33.4 divided by 1.5. Let's get our calculators. 33.4 divided by 1.5. 34, 34.9. Okay, 34.9. Yeah, it should reduce though. It should be 33. Yes, 22. Yes, me too. I'm also getting 22 point because when you're dividing, the number shouldn't go up. 22.26. So therefore, we say ZMW over. Just hold on, let me just respond this way. ZMW over RUB equals 22.26, which means one quach, one ZMW equals 22.26 rubles. Any questions? Any questions, queries? So that's how you do this type of questions. You have two exchange rates, it's just a matter of substitutions. Okay. And the way we substituted here, just always take note in the question how they've phrased the exchange rate. As I've said, if you see they've put it like this, okay, like the way I put it here on top, it means the one on top is the base currency, it's got 1 unit. Then the one below is the quote currency, the one which has got the a number attached to it apart from one. Okay. So if they put it as RUB over ZMW, then it will be now 1 ruble is equal to how many kwacha? No colleagues, I've just got a request. Can you just give me 30 minutes? I'm just doing an online test for someone. 30 minutes. Then we get back to question two. Yes, the person has said the test is closing in 45 minutes. So we do want them to get a zero. So just give me